it makes me look a bit more mature, you know, a little bit more like daddy. Hello and welcome back to Tucking It Up. My name is Tuck and I love playing around with makeup. So today we are going to try out a new product. It's the Brow Engineer from Sensorium Beauty. And before we get into the product, I just wanted to quickly say I'm filming in a different place today in the apartment because I just didn't have time to put up my usual filming setup. This Brow Engineer product is described as an intense pigment paint for your brows. And it's kind of like a brow mascara on steroids. Currently comes in 3 shades. I have all 3 and I'm going to show them to you today. And so they're going to be Platinum, Bleached, and Ash. And so the idea is that no matter what like the base of your brows is, so like as you can see, I have very like dark brows, right, black. When you use this Brow Engineer, you're going to be able to give a very convincing effect. So as soon as I saw this product, I knew I had to try it. So if this sounds like the kind of thing you'd like to see, please stay tuned. Before we get into swatches, the demos, all of that, I think one really important thing to mention is that this Brow Engineer product, right, it's from Sensorium Beauty, which is a brand a new brand founded by Alexis Stone, who's a creator here on YouTube. So Alexis has been involved in a number of controversies, I would say. And so, you know, if you're interested, I would encourage you to go out and look up these things yourself if you don't already know what they're about, and then decide, do you think, you know, she's actually sincerely sort of reformed or learned from her mistakes. You know, from what I've seen, I would say the answer is yes, but that I think the ultimate decision is up to you. Let's actually get into the products themselves. I'm going to insert some B-roll here, just showing off the product. So like I said, there's 3 shades, and I have all 3. They come in this, you know, just this nice box with Sensorium on it in chrome. I'm usually not a big packaging person, but I thought, you know, let's just give it a try and see if I can do this whole product sort of showcase kind of thing. One nice thing is that you do have a little window on the box itself. So like if I guess this goes into a retail setting, you know, you can kind of see not just like what the color is supposed to be on the packaging, but what it actually is. The tube itself is like a plastic squeezy tube, and what you get also, the applicator is kind of like this spoolie, right? So you can use it in 2 ways. You can use the spoolie to apply the product, or you can squeeze out some of the product, let's say onto a hand, onto your palette, and then just, you know, use a brush, whatever you would like, your fingers, a sponge, and just apply it that way. So in terms of the shades, as you can see here, they're quite distinct. Platinum is very, you know, kind of almost white, but not quite, right? I would say it's pretty accurately platinum, and then Bleached is very yellow, and you can see it almost like kind of doesn't stand out too much from my skin, which makes sense because I'm quite yellow based, my skin tone. And then finally you have Ash. So you get a fair amount of product in each tube. You get 16 mils, which that translates into something in ounces, but I cannot do that right now. But it's a good amount of product, I think, especially since you only need a very little bit of it to cover your brows. Yeah, so they retail for about $16 each. And if you get all 3 as a set, as a bundle, it comes to $40. And if you're in the US, like I am, you can make sure that when you purchase, there's an option. It's a little bit hard to get to, but make sure when you purchase it, you say, I want this shipped from the US warehouse, because then shipping is quite fast. I got this in like 2-3 days, and it's also much cheaper. It was $7 for me versus if I got it from their UK warehouse, it would have been $20. So the first shade that we are going to play around with is Platinum. That's this one right here. And you know, as you can see, I have very dark brows. And so this is not like a brow cover product, right? It's not going to make your brows lay flat so that you can kind of draw over it. At least that's not the intention. If you do find a way to make it work like that, please let me know. Let's go ahead and apply Platinum to my jet black brows and see does it really, how well it works. The instructions say to brush upwards, which is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to be quite a little gentle about it because I want to avoid getting too much of the product onto my skin. It's been about a minute and a half, I'd say, since I put this down, so let's check for transfer and smudge proofness and all of that. So I'm just going to take my ring finger and just lightly tap, just see. So I'm not getting, okay, yeah, so I'm not getting very much on my finger. There we go. Hopefully you can see that. A tiny bit of product still came off, I think because there were some parts where it was a little clumpy when I put it on, and so, that gets on my fingers. But yes, I would say in terms of coverage, it's pretty good. And in terms of the transfer proofing, it's also quite good. I think, you can see a little bit of patchiness. You can see some of my hair still, like some of the black poking through. But I think that's because I just haven't quite mastered applying it yet. I've never used brow mascara actually before this, so there you go. So, yeah, that's platinum on both brows then. I am not a huge fan of this color on myself. I think it would work quite a bit better if my hair was on my head was lighter. But there's just so much of a contrast that it just, to me, it looks really off. Without having anything else on my face, of course. I could see this being quite effective depending on what's, different looks that I could do. Okay, so let's go ahead and try the shade Bleached. There we go, focus. And as before, I'm going to start by putting it just on the right side, my right side, so that you can compare the two, and then I'll put it on my left as well. That's bleached on my right eyebrow. The coverage is really good, and I think I like this actually a lot better than platinum for myself because since the color is quite close to my skin tone actually, it's more forgiving when I do get the product on my skin. It doesn't show up so much, unlike with platinum. The coverage, the opacity is still good, as you can see. It kind of, even in person, I have to do like a double take when I look into the mirror because it's like, I know I haven't shaved off my eyebrows, and I know they should be there, and I can kind of see them, but also they're kind of not there. So this will be really, I'll be really interested to see what effect this has on different makeup looks that I do in the future. So that's bleached on both of my eyebrows. I have to say I'm, not to be, I'm kind of, is the word shook? Let's go with shook. I do love how it gives me this really like bizarre kind of appearance. My eyebrows are not, you can kind of tell that they're there, right? Again, like with the first side, you can see there's something there, but like it forces you almost to do a double take because you're like, I think there's something there, but I'm not sure, so let me look again to be sure. The pigmentation on this, the opacity is great. I do have to learn how to control it a little bit better so it doesn't quite get so much onto my skin. But once it, when it does, it's actually kind of quite easy to clean up. Yeah, so bleached, like it better than platinum. And now for my final trick, let's go in with ash. As before, I'm going to start off just covering the right brow so you can compare the two sides, and then I'll do the other side as well. The coverage seems to be a little bit more, I think, even than the previous two, and where it gets on my skin, I think it's also a little bit less obvious. I think there's a couple reasons for that. The first is the black, when it does show up, is not so, I guess, it doesn't contrast so much with the pigment, and so, it looks like the coverage is better. The second is I'm probably getting a little bit better each time I put this on as well. So for those of you who have lots of experience with brow mascaras, this will be super, super intuitive and super easy. But this might be a nice way for me actually to like put in a little bit more, like fill it out a little bit more and I don't want it to be like too strong. God, somehow somehow I did not fall over in my chair while doing that. It kind of, you know, I wasn't expecting to really like this shade very much, but I kind of do. It makes me look a bit more, you know, because of the gray in it, it makes me look a bit more mature, you know, a little bit more like daddy. Well, okay, maybe not, but, you know, let me live my fantasy, okay? Yeah, I again, the coverage is really nice. I found this a little bit easier, I think, to control than Platinum and Bleached. And yeah, I'm digging it, actually. I wasn't expecting to, because I thought, you know, this is sort of the most usual of the three shades, and therefore it's going to be the most boring, but yeah, I like the effect it's giving me. Alright, so let's talk about kind of the whole collection, I guess you could say. I found all three shades to go on pretty easily, right? The coverage, I think, was also universally really good, especially when you consider that I have really black hair, right? And it's a nightmare to try and cover this without it looking clumpy or just like really heavy, you know, that kind of issues. And I don't think even with Platinum and Bleached I ran into either of those issues. Platinum I found hard to control because I think once it gets onto my skin, it's so obvious that I have to be much more precise about it. Bleached was much easier because it's close to my skin tone, so it covers well, and so even if it gets on my skin, it's not such a big issue. You know, I can blend it out, or I can tidy up the edges a lot more easily. And then finally, Ash. Yeah, I kind of, this might actually, you know, for like everyday, or if I'm trying to do more of an everyday kind of look, this might be my favorite. But I think Bleached would be my favorite if I'm kind of going to do like a very intense sort of look, because it really almost obliterates my eyebrows. You can still see it, but you have to look a little bit more closely to kind of confirm that it's still there when I'm using Bleached. So all in all, I'm really quite happy with these products. I've been looking for a while for a way to just alter my brows without covering them. So thank you so much for joining me. And if you like this video, you want to see more content like this, please be sure to like and subscribe. You know, leave a comment. I'm very chatty on YouTube, but nowhere else. So let that tell you what it may. And until next time, bye!